With the world of coaching evolving and the carousel always changing, we're going to sit down with some coaches and we're going to figure out what they coach, how they coach, and most importantly, why they got into this profession. My name is Kason Wilkinson, and I am your host of the Coaches Why podcast.
We're hitting all corners of the earth, man. This is a wrestling coach out of a college in, is it Oklahoma or was it New Mexico?
I'm from New Mexico, but I coach in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so I just happened across, and we're telling our story to everyone from a grassroots approach, and then we're going from all angles. So just to get the word out, the guy, I'm going to turn it over to you guys, and if you have any questions for me, great. But I'm going to kind of sit back.
Yes, sir. I will say to you, if there's any questions that you want to jump in on, feel free. I have a few. I tried to incorporate both of you guys a little bit. I mean, you might have some answers that Rigan doesn't or vice versa. So, yeah, I'm super excited, though, to chit-chat a little bit with you guys. And thank you guys for tuning into this episode. If you guys are watching on YouTube, if you guys are an audio listener, we have a huge guest coming in today. We have a few different people here. Mr. Larry Sheely, top right of your screen up there. And you got the only Rigan Machado. They're both of them BJJ experts. Both of them are from Mach 5, I believe is what it's called. Mach 5 BJJ. And so we're going to chat a little bit about the whole world of MMA today and the beauty of what BJJ is and just mixed martial arts. So super excited to touch base a little bit about this. Rigan, I'm going to start with you and have a question for you, sir. So, just the scope of BJJ and mixed martial arts, right? It's grown so much, and I know it's always been kind of big in kind of their own rights in terms of, the country, right, where they originated from, things like that. But go ahead and give myself and the listeners kind of a, in a nutshell, where BJJ started and kind of how it became to what it is today.
BJJ started in America. The pioneer of here in America, the guy who helped to push BJJ to grow, was a guy named Rorion Gracie. Rorion Gracie was the guy in the beginning. I remember Rorion Gracie have Royce, Hickson, and myself help him to teach on the garage. We have a garage. We teach this before UFC. And Rorion used to bring us to go everywhere to train jiu-jitsu with wrestlers, with judo guys, with different style of martial arts. And little by little, Rorion came out with the idea for do UFC to prove Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu efficient in a fight. The idea was to bring the fight to the ground and submit the person on the ground. You know what I mean? And that's the idea of UFC for Rorion. And based like he accomplished, he did 1, 2, 3 UFCs. And after this, he sold the UFC for people. And the UFC today at the White House, to see at the time I was watching the beginning, the birth of mixed martial arts through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu idea is huge for me to be a part of this journey. And the same happened with the sport jiu-jitsu. I helped in the beginning to bring Carlos Gracie Jr., my coach, to United States. We come out the idea to do Pan American World Championships. And today they sport in over 160 countries. That journey is amazing. Now my next journey is Mach 5. Mach 5 is going to be the feature for a lot of the jiu-jitsu people, because I think the key is create something to create union, to bring people together, to do big events like camps, to do programs, to create this group of guys work together to solution how you can help the community, how you can help things to grow You know what I mean? It's not much
Yeah.
about, oh, you under my association, use my brain and do whatever. No,
Right.
it's about we're going to work together and going to get well organized to be sure the jiu-jitsu go to the next level in many different ways. And based, I have my own association, which is Rigan Machado, but how can I do something bigger than my
Yeah.
something like
Right.
create a union to find solutions for the athletes? You know what I mean? Like even like
Sure.
sit with some of the smartest businessmen, sit with some of the smartest people and figure out um things. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like I think all that is an angle. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
It's beautiful though that that's what you're trying to do. You know, the idea of growing this Mach 5 into something bigger than yourself, right? Like your name's associated, sure, but the idea that you're trying to get this out to the masses of people on how great the sport can be for not only individuals but maybe for a community, right? And so that's one of the things that wrestling is so beautiful about, I think, is it is a relatively small community, right? Especially in terms of even, I'm sure even mixed martial arts is relatively small, even though it's massive. It's not the same in terms of like, you know, soccer, huge memberships, football, baseball. There's a lot of people in it, and it's really tight in this community. So I can appreciate that you're trying to grow this into something that gets people involved and just get it out to more people in that regard. And you know, you're talking about the Gracie family, obviously, kind of the originators, and you were a part of this, right? In the growth of where it started here in America, and things of that nature. And so, you know, you like you mentioned the White House fight that happened, right? Like that's huge. But if you watch, and obviously you were part of it, but people who are just watching the sport, you know, from whenever they watched, you know, the UFC in the early days, UFC 1 or UFC 3, right? These original UFCs, it's grown a lot in just getting to this point, right? And there's a lot of people, you know, obviously as a wrestler, I see a lot of people who transition from wrestling into mixed martial arts of whatever regard that may be, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. So in your experience, you know, you might get some people like wrestlers who come over to jiu-jitsu, right? So what is that transition like for people who may be looking to get into this world, right? Like is it an easy and smooth transition over? Is it difficult for wrestlers who come from different backgrounds? What's your experience in that when it comes to that?
I think the wrestlers is so easy for them to cross over because they are the way you see. Let's take the names away. Let's take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all these names, judo. The bottom line, we grapplers. We just
Sure.
add submissions and teach the wrestlers how to fight if they're back on the ground. They're gonna be, they're gonna adapt for something completely different. Who the transition is very easy. I don't think it's a problem at all. I think
Okay.
when every wrestlers who come to my academy, um, they learn so fast already because they're already a natural grappler. They already used to scramble and take people down and stuff.
Mm.
They, what need to teach the wrestler is a different game, a different point system, different because when you fight wrestling, the strategy is pin, score points, and
Yep.
things like that. In jiu-jitsu, no, your goal is submission to get strong positions to do chokes, arm bars, attack the foot, and things like that. That
Sure.
is like it's like the only thing the wrestlers have to be careful. We have to educate them. Natural because they fight to touch each other back on the ground. They natural stay on the third position. Like they give
Yep.
the back to do that against a jiu-jitsu guy is not a good idea because they can get your back and go for chokes. Basically, you want to be sure you teach them to learn how to fight with the back on the ground once a while to not
Yep.
expose the neck that easy because that's the only little thing sometimes the wrestler need to watch out. But wrestling brings some great elements who complete jiu-jitsu the other way because wrestling teach balance, teach like a lot of dominations, a lot of controls, a lot of things like that, which is good for jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys start crossing over to wrestling for many reasons, to no gi competition, not only the no gi, but for the MMA is so important wrestling today because doesn't
Sure.
matter, you're the king of submission, but you in a fight MMA, you can take the guy down to do the submission. All the jiu-jitsu going to be hard to do it because you can't take the other opponent down. What happened is almost like we need each other. And to
Mhm.
understand that is any wrestler who retire wrestling, you want to cross over, start doing MMA or jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is there to help them too.
Yeah. I Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I can see how it's easy to transition over. I will say what you're saying about, you have to watch out, right, in terms of wrestlers going over there. I will say, it's not my proudest moment, but I wrestled somebody who was pretty good at the jiu-jitsu game, and I thought, oh, no, don't worry about it. Like, I knew what I was doing. I took him down very easily. And let's just say they got me into a position that got me into, I believe it was a guillotine or something of that nature, pretty quick because of the positions, like you said, like they were working to get strong there, right? And so I will say, like, I wrestled somebody, like, all right, yeah, I wasn't prepared for that, and so I can understand that's a big important piece, just the different type of positions and some of those strongholds and things like that. And so for you though, Regan, I'm curious to know, I always like to ask, I know I kind of started this episode off like this, but I'm curious to know, tell me a little bit about yourself in terms of, where you grew up, but also when you got involved in the sport of jiu-jitsu or maybe just wrestling, whatever it may be.
Yeah, for me, it was very simple. I grew up in Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
The early age, I have opportunity to do judo. You can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
I did judo. I did a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition, judo competitions. Um, Little by little, I have a chance to, when I came to United States, to start doing wrestling.
Okay.
And after this, I cross over to Greco-Roman,
Ah,
which is true
Greco-Roman.
passion. For me, Greco-Roman is my love. I love Greco-Roman so much.
It's a different style for sure. But yeah, the Greco-Roman, it is a beautiful style in the wrestling, and so it definitely teaches you the upper body positions that not all areas do. So definitely important piece. So I guess for you, when did you decide that coaching and maybe giving back to the community is something that you wanted to do? Knowing that this is kind of what your end goal, obviously, like we talked about earlier, how you want Mach 5 to go to this level and some of these things, right? So when did you decide that coaching the sport and giving back to the community is what you wanted to do?
I think it's the reason come out idea because every champion, world champion, or every great teachers in this sport, they have something to offer programs, teaching, experience,
Mhm.
details. And for more your knowledge, more your experience of teaching, have a lot of things. Sometimes you're good, but some other things you're not very good. And I start thinking like, how can I get somebody who is very good in footlock, somebody who is very good in this, very good this, to create a way to bring these programs to one place. These programs like give a choice for a lot of people to offer the best for the students because you're gonna get the best in each specific techniques. And I will love that. Imagine, like example, you have some of the five top guys in the world teach you what they do best. That is impossible to. Is fantastic. And basically in Brazil, have I know over 100 different fighters who so good and they come world champion a bunch of times with few techniques. If that's the guys I want to bring aboard for Mac 5 to create these unique programs for what he do best, to have chance to offer for the group, you know what I mean, to
Sure.
learn in specific because it's almost like you're going to a different restaurant. You have a variety, you have Italian food, you have Brazilian food, you have Mexican food, you know what I mean? It's
Sure.
like it's amazing. You don't want to get like Brazilian guy to come and do sushi for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
Yeah,
super
yeah,
tough.
right, right.
A Japanese guy to do your sushi. It's like I give you an example. Another day I went to a place, to a restaurant. It's nothing against Mexican, but I saw a bunch of guys, Maxes, on the kitchen doing the sushi. I said, I don't know this place is a place I want to have sushi. I mean,
Sure.
uh, same like you're going to a Mexican restaurant, vice versa. See Japanese guys on the kitchen. You said, wait a
Yeah.
minute. For sure, you always have a special occasion. People is good in everything, but the bottom line, that's the idea, is to get the best of the best to create the best programs for people. And create
Yeah.
big unit, create big camps, big events, create things like the community. It's going to be super excited about.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, the growth that your idea of what you're doing, and I love the idea of trying to bring the best of the best to create the best opportunity for them. Right, literally, literally the best people, but also to learn from the best as well. So, I can definitely appreciate that, especially as a coach as well. So, as you've been around a lot of different people, right? A lot of different coaches, maybe that you got to experience, but also got to be around some of the best athletes within each, uh, what do you want to call it? Style, I guess, right? When it comes to BJJ or judo or whatever that may be, or even Greco, you've been around, I'm sure, some people. So, anyways, what I'm getting to is, who was an influential coach to you? Like, who was an important coach to you, and what did they teach you? With not only within the sport, but maybe on the personal side too.
Growing up, I have access to a guy named Halls Grace.
Okay.
Halls Grace for me was a unique coach. He's a very good mental coach to get you mentally ready for compete. He, Carson Grace for me is another guy. Was he have a unique method to training and get results. And his
Okay.
style of coaching for me was, these two guys completely different styles, but two very successful coaches to bring results. I think Carlos Grace Jr. is a great coach. I have access to him growing up. But the guy who helped my game to go to the next level, technician wise, was Rickson Grace. I have opportunity
Mm,
to train for him for years, private lessons. And Rickson helped me to sharp my style of game because one of the things I try to explain to people is like to find what you do best. Because when you become a real champion, beating people, doing well, is not the quantity, is how well we do field techniques.
mm,
And to develop specific techniques for your body type and the way you like to fight. And Hicks was the one who have the tools for that. It's very hard because some of the coaches I have is the best, but they didn't have the specific techniques to sharpen what I need. And Hicks was the key for my game to grow, my game to create my identity as a competitor. And I became
sure.
very successful because that. Yeah, I think this is very important. That's why the Mac 5 for me is very important because you need to find what's good for you. And
Yeah.
sometimes I look people like a sponge. I can throw you 1,000 things to you, but what's real is gonna be you're gonna be able to adapt well. You know what I mean? And that's
Sure.
what I think is very important. Like in wrestling, what's your takedown? You do single, do high crotch. What's your game? You know what,
Yeah.
I mean? What made you to be unique? What's the techniques you do better than other people? You know what I mean? These little questions
I
answer, Mac 5 is going to be able to answer.
I agree. Yeah.
That's why Mark is the guy because Mark is on the structure to organize, connect people, and to create something to start. It's gonna just the beginning. We're not on the pinnacle of things we're gonna do because for sure we're gonna add more unique people on the team to get this to a real high level. But right now, uh, we're just starting. I'm very excited about the journey, how far we're gonna go.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You're referencing about making sure that you find the right technique for your body type and things like that. One of my favorite quotes or one of my favorite things that I'm pretty confident Bruce Lee mentioned was, would you rather know one kick and practice it 10,000 times, or would you rather have 10,000 kicks and practice it once? And, I personally think you'd probably want to become a master at one, right? So one kick 10,000 times, just because, yeah, you can have this whole toolbox, but if you don't know how to use them, what's that going to do for you? Like, how is that going to benefit you truly if you don't know how to utilize some of those techniques that you're mentioning? So I agree, finding what works for you and really becoming a really good, becoming a master at it, right? And like similar to you, you're what they consider a grand master within the BJJ world, right? Within this world that you're in, just because of the level of black belt you are. And if you guys don't know, Rigan, he's or Coach Machado, he has a lot of experience. He's got world bronze, silver, and gold medalists, or gold medals, I should say, in his experience, I should say, in a few different areas, right? Yeah, in jiu-jitsu championships, Pan American championships. He's got a lot of success there, but he didn't get there without experience, right? Without a lot of work. So, kind of leading in from that, sir, what are some of the biggest challenges, or what are some of the challenges you faced going from when you first started to now?
I think it was luck, because I was in a place with my cousins who they love me, they want to make me good, they spend a lot of times with me, they guide me the right way. I have a phenomenal environment. I compete and train every day. I think the puzzle of things what help you. You can do that by yourself. It's not like, oh, by myself I'm gonna do everything. You need people around you. You need these people. You need great coach, people who care about you and care about your success. I think this is going to be very important because the moment you do that, it's just going to help you to get better, 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 and that's what I try to do. Uh-huh.
I think as you've started someplace, right, having the right people around you is important. And I'm sure you've met some people who made it out of some bad environments, but they use MMA and they use some of the training to help them get out of those bad environments, right? So, how do you feel like, as a coach, people that you've been around, people have walked into your gym, right, or in a gym that you were a part of that needed the gym more than the gym needed them, right? And I'm sure you've experienced that sometimes.
I think I remember I have a good answer for you. Uh, I think it was Carlos Gracie, the founder of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He come, hey, you go to the academy, you go teach some techniques and do some things like that. It's great. You're good techniques guy. You go and teach people the techniques.
Yeah.
Now the next level, you go over there. You love to teach your people and love to help them and to help them to become a better person, a better son, a better father, a better, more confident person to face life, and to teach them things through the sport of jiu-jitsu, how they can help himself and each other in many different ways. And I think that you come a jiu-jitsu teacher. In that kind of conversation I have with Carlos Grace, what he said he used to do, every student, you look like I want to change this guy to be a better person. Now you're a real jiu-jitsu teacher because you want to just go and show techniques. You don't care about the person. Uh, Go to YouTube, learn the techniques. Who cares? You know what I mean? But when the guy come in your academy, he come a member of your family. They come you protecting him. You protect his values, his morals. You know what I mean? Like same like he's some instructor is so good. They come over there, they're not doing good in school, they're not gonna be able to do jujitsu. They do respect their father, no jujitsu. Say, brother, for your training here, you have to be a good son, do good in school. You have to help, you know what I mean? Not be a bully, not do this, not brother. It's crazy. Like almost like you, I remember Carlos. Jiu-Jitsu come to fix the world. He said that. I started laughing. I said, yeah, I believe you. But that's his belief.
Yeah.
And then this kind of unique belief, Carlos Gracie, Helio Gracie, his brothers, believe what Jiu-Jitsu is what it is today. You see the
Yeah.
UFC at the White House. All that because one person believed. And that is amazing. That's why I feel so proud to be on the journey. That's how I feel so proud. Carlos Grace was my uncle. You know what I mean? Is
Yeah.
example, people look to Carlos Grace, the founder, the master. I used to look at him like my simple uncle, who I talk every day, hang out, and have
Yeah.
lessons about his journey. You know what I mean?
I
It's like
do.
Carlos Grace have a lot of money. He didn't care about money. He care about the journey. He care about what life is about. Because he said, Higan, in life, it's like you're writing a book. You want to read the book, what you did to your life, what's interest about your life, what you changed, what you made so unique. Everybody want to read your book. It's your journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In these little details growing up, he always telling like to be positive, not to be negative. And for me, it was a journey who who changed me 100%.
Yeah.
Not just me, but changed all his kids, all my brothers. You know what I mean? I never
Yeah.
imagined myself to travel to 100 countries, teach over 1,000 seminars, doing jiu-jitsu. And all these little things, I remember the conversations I have with him on the morning, on the lunchtime. You know what I mean? Some little stories he used to tell me because it's amazing to to be part of the beginning. And
Yeah.
like I was doing a seminar the other day, I was explaining what techniques he used to do in the beginning. What's the different today? What people do today different from the 50 years ago? And to
Yeah.
have a chance to have that by doing, to be right over there on the mat, and to have a chance to do all that is fantastic. I said, like, brother, my journey of the jiu-jitsu, the journey is priceless. It's like something when they tell people, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, what you guys learning today, all the jiu-jitsu, all the new submission, all these things, because us. Imagine we not come to United States, we're not trying to introduce Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we're not create UFC. You know what I mean? You're not doing all
Where
that.
would it be?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What's martial arts
Yeah.
today?
Yeah, no, that you got the journey. It's always the journey. It's not about where you start; it's where you finish. Like you said, somebody believed, and I think that's probably the most powerful thing you mentioned in that whole statement. Which there's a lot powerful, but it
I
just
want
takes
you to
belief.
be connect to us now. From now, I want you to be a member of Mac 5 because I think you're gonna be a good ambassador. We call the generals for Mac 5 crossover with the community of wrestlers is gonna be good because I think wrestlers sometimes good to cross over, do another styles of grappling. Because great
Yeah.
athletes, some of the wrestlers, some of the best athletes I know. You know what I mean? Imagine they cross over to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, just gonna help the sport to grow with better athletes to cross over to MMA. Oh, it's gonna be wrestlers is some of the best fighters today in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Sure.
Pop, my friend, I don't want to be rude, but I'm gonna have to go to
Okay.
meet director who try to do some projects together. I'm gonna say thank you for the opportunity
Sure.
and let's keep in touch.
Yeah, we will. Yes, sir. I appreciate you taking the time to talk a little bit today. We'll talk to you soon. Thank
My
you.
pleasure, sir. You're a good guy. Let's keep in touch, sir.
Well, guys, first time we ended a little early. Unfortunately, there's a few more questions that obviously I know you guys are probably super excited to hear. I had a few more questions for Higan and Coach Machado and obviously for Mr. Sheely as well. Just on the business side and some more of the development side, I had a little bit more that I had for him in the chamber, but look forward to, we're going to try to get him back on here so we can finish up on this episode, or maybe not this episode, but on another episode so we can dive into some more of those questions and some more of those things. So super excited to have that, but thank you guys for listening to this episode. I know it's short. Anyways, with that being said, guys, Short episode today, but super excited. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching this episode. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.